We have some breaking news that happened about an hour ago that I want to talk about. So Lee Zeldin, he's a Republican rep, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, he's running.
And he's running in New York for the governor.
Yes.
Someone just tried to kill him.
Yep.
What?
To stab him.
Someone tried to stab him,
Give it a
and
speech.
he's fine. Nobody got hurt.
Oh, thank God.
He finished his speech.
He finished his speech.
You love to see it.
That's pretty badass. Okay,
Wasn't
that away.
Was that a Teddy Roosevelt
kidding?
thing?
Yeah.
Was it Roosevelt
He
who
got
got like
shot.
shot and he was like, I have more to say.
Like, I got
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And they arrested the person.
I'm just seeing this on Twitter. After speaking on bail for him, someone just tried stabbing New York Governor candidate Lee Zeldin.
Unreal.
News 10, NBC, New York Post. I'm not sure. Are we seeing more from this?
Oh man,
There's
Lee
a photograph.
Zeldin's gonna
but
win.
let's. Can we get some? Is there any more confirmation on this? I want to be very careful here.
I'm seeing
That's
from Will
crazy.
Chamberlain, whom I trust implicitly, but I don't have further facts. It's so breaking. It's still only on Twitter, but I'm sure they'll have news. I bet Post Millennial has.
It could be some random person posting some random nonsense. You know, we're waiting for some official confirmation, but I don't know if I see anything other than
some real media
people just posting a photo.
Wow.
So I want to make sure we have confirmation on this for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Looks like we've
There's
got
the
Rochester
story.
first.
local.
Okay,
Yeah.
we got confirmation.
There you go.
Zeldin attacked at Parenton campaign stop. Confirmed. Let's see. He was attacked at a campaign event. Witnesses say he was giving a speech about bail reform when a man got on stage, started yelling, wrestled with him a bit, and pulled out a blade. The alleged attacker was suppressed by AM Vets National Director Joe Chenelly.
Whoa.
A witness with Zeldin after the attack said Zeldin was not hurt and took the stage again when it was over. Bravo, good sir.
Heroic.
Now, scary and disgusting.
Yes, that's terrifying.
The direction is-
Horrible. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Thank God he's okay.
absolutely. And he stood up and gave his speech, and mad respect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got some questions, Marjorie.
Okay.
What is the balance, right? So this conversation, great. We're talking about bringing people together. We see what happens when extreme rhetoric. I mean, this guy could just be not even political. He could just be mentally unhinged. We have no idea. The story's just coming in. But obviously there's toxic elements on both sides right now, on both extremes. Apparently you've said some controversial things, right? And we were talking about this before, where it's what gets attention on issues, right? But what is that line between, like, would you get as much attention if you were like, hey, I'm just trying to bring people together, blah, blah, blah. The war is bad. I agree with the left. I'm pro-life. I agree with the right, etc. Or like you were saying, before we went on air, you were talking about sometimes this extreme rhetoric is what gets attention, but is the extreme rhetoric also what leads to like
Bombastic is maybe a better word.
Bombastic. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll take that.
I'm very direct.
You are. You don't have much of a filter, as they say.
Well, I think that if we're going to solve problems, you have to really get down to what the issue is.
Yeah.
Do you have an example?
Yeah. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it without getting booted off YouTube. But
After show. Uncensored.
after show,
at
uncensored.
11
Ooh,
PM.
sign up for the after show.
Well, okay. So there's here's an example.
Okay.
I don't like Nancy Pelosi, and maybe this is the Daily Show taking it out of context. So you can correct me. I don't like Nancy Pelosi. I don't think a lot of people like Nancy Pelosi. I wonder if that's why her husband drinks. I don't know. Don't know. But wasn't there a clip on this stupid Daily Show thing I watched where you were like, it's treason, and treason you get killed or something like that, implying, and what everyone said was you were implying Nancy Pelosi should be killed because Nancy Pelosi committed treason, and the punishment for treason is death, right? Could that be
there's
extreme
also-
rhetoric
No,
that
would
leads
be
to...
that would be the extreme punishment, but there's also prison.
Right, but that's not the one you said.
No, I didn't. I didn't
But-
call for her to be killed.
No, I know you didn't call,
Yeah.
but even by using, like, there are so many things.
I do think people who are elected and we swear an oath and we're to defend the Constitution. We are supposed to uphold the law.
100%.
And Nancy Pelosi and I'll say Joe Biden and many others that will not secure our border.
Right.
I believe that is committing treason because they are allowing an invasion into our country, and it's breaking our laws, and they're encouraging it, they're turning their back on it, and they're just washing their hands of it. And at the same time, Nancy Pelosi and all the Democrats that want sanctuary cities where they're harboring people that broke laws to come into our country, when do we acknowledge that these elected leaders that swore an oath to uphold our Constitution, our laws, what do we call this? What do we call it?
Actually,
I call it treason.
that's a good point. I think legally, treason is providing aid
And comfort to enemies.
but enemies have to be declared by Congress, I'm pretty sure.
If it was like an ISIS sanctuary city in Delaware, then it would be like, well, that's not good.
Look. There is a very serious problem that
I would say the cartels are our enemies.
I agree.
And if we don't call them our enemies, and they are enabling and making this happen, it's human trafficking on a scale you've never seen before. And they also work inside our country. The cartels, since the Biden has taken over, they have moved into our country. This is what we've been told when I went on my border trip. And there's a massive network in our country.
Did you know Obama gave them guns?
Yeah.
The Fast and the Furious program,
Fast
you know
and
that?
Furious, that's right.
They gave guns to cartels. So good point. I think if you're providing,
I'm not
aid and
calling for
comfort-
the death penalty of anyone,
Yes.
but I think the American people deserve better.
But I want to
Yeah.
address. I want to add to this. People don't understand. What we hear a lot from like Tucker Carlson and people on the right is that the Democrats are bringing in illegal immigrants so they can vote for them, and then the left says they can't vote. That's wrong, and both sides are wrong. When California brings in 1 million illegal immigrants and refuses to abide by federal law, they get an extra electoral college vote. This gives California an extra congressional seat, which gives them more power to vote in Congress. That is subversion. So perhaps a seditious conspiracy, I suppose, to steal power from the other states in the union.
To be fair, I don't even think illegal immigrants want to move to California right now.
They get free health care
No, I'm
under
kidding.
26.
I know.
So, or there's some kind of program like that. So this is the issue, right? This is why Trump wanted the citizenship question. Because sanctuary states like California know they get extra seats. So they've recently lost. New York lost one because people are fleeing. But I believe that's the real game plan. You bring them in right before a census, as many as you can. You do the census, you're going to get extra votes for the presidential election. So illegal immigrants don't vote personally, but that extra congressional seat, that's a solid vote. And we're talking about 538. So that is a huge, huge advantage, 1 or 2 extra votes. At what point are you going to see a state like Texas say what they are doing by not abiding by federal law is subverting? Now, what did we see in the first Civil War? It was the Fugitive Slave Act. The South said, we have a federal law. If a slave escapes to the North has to return them. And the North said, no, we won't. Now, interestingly, I mean, I agree the North
Which is
should
good.
not. Right. They should not have been doing that. They should have been saying no. Some things are just morally abhorrent.
Yep.
Think about where that brings us today. What happens when the Republicans pass a federal law saying if a woman takes a viable, is pregnant with a viable baby and flees to a state for an abortion, the state must return her to the state of residence, and they say no. All of a sudden now you're going to be entering the same territory. When Texas says California is violating federal law for political power, we say no. At what point, to your point, is someone going to say we demand the politicians subverting this country be held accountable? And what form does that take? I think impeachment. I think Nancy Pelosi should not be allowed to run. I think she forfeits office. And then we can bring in whoever else who might run the district. And you know what? Maybe even might be more progressive than she is. Don't know, don't care. Vote for whoever you want, San Francisco, but get the corruption out of there.
Yeah.
No, it's correct. We have to hold people accountable because we are falling apart.
Yep.
We're falling apart, and that affects everybody.
Yeah.
Even like there's a bunch of people that don't even vote, could care less, and
Well,
and
Trump
they're
woke
losing.
them up for sure.
Yeah, he did.
Yep. A lot of first-time voters.
He absolutely, but I'm one. I'll attack the Republicans sometimes more than I attack the Democrats because I feel like Republicans have let me down so many times. I didn't even vote for Mitt Romney. I couldn't even vote. I was like, I can't vote for this guy for president.
I mean, yeah, no.
Yeah, and I didn't want Barack Obama. My goodness, but I definitely did not want Mitt Romney.
That Romney thing is one more point for our friendship, buddy.
It's kind of crazy because I voted for Trump in 2020, but not 2016.
Yeah.
But after seeing what he did, if I could go back in time, I'd vote for him in 2016.
Oh yeah,
I know
I
a
was
lot of people
all
probably
in.
feel that way.
I was
that.
unapologetically all in, like ridiculously all in for President Trump, and I still am. I love the guy, absolutely love him. Is he perfect? No, but you want to know something? As messy as our world is, and as screwed up as our country is, I want to put the meanest, toughest, most successful, proven leader in there to fix it for us all. And I think
don't-
that's what we need.
I don't understand why he's not the preferred candidate of Antifa. If they really think that he is this destabilizing force who's going to go in and just gut the country, they should be voting for him, being like, oh no, it's Trump. Right? They have this belief. It's like the Democrats are like, he's dismantling our government one step at a time. He's firing people. Then Antifa should be like, yeah, actually.
They should, but the Fight the System Antifa were also the same ones to put masks on and get out there and riot for the
vaccinations and
vaccines.
stuff.
Yeah.
It was crazy watching the video of them attacking people outside of, Antifa attacked an anti-censorship rally. And I'm like, what? Are you pro-corporate? Mm-hmm. These are people protesting corporations. Then you had people protesting outside of a facility against mandated vaccine mandates. And Antifa attacks them too. And I'm like, they're opposing government authority.
Yeah.
Then I love the memes where they're like, AOC saying the Supreme Court shouldn't have the jurisdiction over abortion. And it's like, okay, they literally ruled that. Like, you agree with them? They said they were rescinding authority and giving back to the states. But AOC wants jurisdiction transferred to a different federal court anyway.
No, she just wants to completely take apart the Supreme Court.
Packing the court, it's fascistic.
Pack the court. That's what they want.
I love the ban the guns Democrats. Leftists, like real ones, they like guns. There's like the Socialist Rifle Association, for instance.
I think
The ones that hate me love guns. They love guns so much they called my husband and left a voicemail on his cell phone this past weekend and said a lot of nasty things about me and said, this is what I'm going to do to your wife. And then they cocked their gun and fired it several times.
I told you I was sorry about that voice memo. I said I didn't know how to say it on air. I told you before. Yeah, that's horrible, man. I'm sorry that happened. Like whenever I see people on the right be attacked with some of the tactics that I used to criticize on the other side, like I always want to just be like, man, that doesn't represent me at all. Like that's awful. It's awful.
But how often have you heard the left say respect the diversity of tactics?
Right.
That's a code word for when you see people getting violent, don't try and stop them or criticize them.
What?
They call it respecting the diversity of tactics. It's a
What does that even mean?
Well, I
allow
remember
it to happen?
we used to like get in trouble. Anyone who talked about, when protests got violent, even around Occupy, if someone brought up Martin Luther King Jr., they'd be like, oh, that's like a sellout. It was a sellout tactic. If you brought up Martin Luther King Jr. and you'd say, oh, he believed in peaceful protest, blah, 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 blah. They would almost say that. Now, it is ridiculous when even this year you see like the FBI posting like Martin Luther King Day tweets and stuff. You're like, okay, that's a little ridiculous. But I think that having him as a role model is certainly not a bad thing and shouldn't be labeled as a bad thing.
So the diversity of tactics thing, just to clarify, the idea is that when we protest, a bunch of people will try different things. And so whenever someone would show up wearing all black and throw bricks, the organizers would say, well, we respect a diversity of tactics.
What?
Yeah, it's
that's
nonsense.
Violence. It's
Right.
breaking the law.
Yeah, it's wrong.
There should be no respect for that.
Well,
regardless of who
and
it
just
is.
like you said, you get more mad at Republicans sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like the left should get really mad at that because that derails. If you're throwing bricks through windows, now the story becomes bricks through windows, not was this man murdered by the police? And
Absolutely.
It's like we don't want to take away from that. If you actually care about the problem, if you want to fix institutional racism, if you want to hold bad cops accountable and help good cops, you shouldn't be throwing bricks through windows. You should be actually making your point. Be out in the streets.
Yeah.
Peacefully protest.
Wear your heat-resistant gloves.
Always wear the gloves. Guys, pretend to be handcuffed and wear the gloves.
The left is never going to hold their own accountable because
It's awful. I mean, I'm doing it right now, but
Well,
I was mad about
they're
January
amoral.
6th. I was mad.
Yeah.
The left
I was
is amoral.
upset.
They
Yeah,
only
of
care
course.
about
I was
power.
scared. I was angry. I could not believe it. I was like, what is happening? How is this happening?
yeah.
this is the weird
I couldn't believe it.
the weird contradiction though. They don't hold each other accountable, but they do falsely accuse each other. Like it's a circular firing squad is what Obama called it.
Yeah.
So it's like you'll watch someone on the left do something egregious and they'll look at you and be like, so what?
Wasn't
But-
there a famous comedian that just got, Dave Chappelle.
Yes, Dave Chappelle, Antifa threatened the venue, I guess, and then he bailed out.
The left used to love Dave Chappelle.
But
Well,
why? Who did he attack? What was the...
It was
what,
because of his transphobic remarks,
what-
supposedly.
So what were his transphobic remarks? Because I get accused of that too.
I mean, he's made a lot of jokes about like the whole trans issue. I think he's kind of pigeonholed himself in that way. I don't think they're super funny personally, but like, I mean, obviously the left has decided that the trans issue is like taking priority right now.
It's the golden
because
calf.
it's like the ultimate lie that you have to believe in order to be part of their group. So like some of the venue staff was doing a strike, and then the venue, I think, was just sorry that they got caught. They kind of wanted to have him on under the radar and then apologize afterwards. I saw their post on Instagram about it, saying like, we want to be a safe space for everyone. We're not just a black box with people in it. We're like a home for freedom of expression, except we just
Dave
canceled
Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle. And also, you know, that like the next venue that is willing to overlook that is eager to have him because he sells out everywhere.
What the left doesn't realize, you know, I've been doing stand-up for 20 years. I've seen Chappelle perform in front of 20 people, in front of, you know, sold out crowds. What they don't understand is they're actually pushing more people to the right, because there are so many comedy fans who are fans of offensive comedy. I say offensive things. I'm a fan of offensive comedy because a lot of good comedy, it comes from trauma. You know, when people would ask me in interviews, like, were you the class clown? I'm like, nope, the class clown beat me up. Like, a lot of comics are sad, right? I remember getting into comedy because I had a really rough childhood, and you'd use humor to kind of escape. And same with, you know, even politics. If you can make someone who disagrees with you laugh, that breaks the ice, and now you can have a conversation, right? And so what's happening is comics also, they don't take crap. And they double down, because to them, comedy is the religion, which means that I am constantly trying to walk that line and see how far I can take an audience where they get scared. And then I'm going to hit them with a punchline, and then they're going to laugh even harder because they thought they were going to disagree. So Chappelle had like, I'm not a huge fan either, Mary, of like some of the early like trans jokes. I'm like, oh, that was kind of easy, whatever. Didn't think they were like hateful by any means. Then he gets attacked as like the world's worst, you know, transphobe, whatever, which is also not true.
He gets physically assaulted on stage, by the way.
He
does the same thing that this representative was doing.
And man,
just continue to say.
He handled that guy.
Wow.
And so what happened in, I don't think his last special, either his last special or second to last special, is he tells this really touching story about a trans friend of his who was a comic who he would bring out on the road with him and or have open a couple times. And it was really beautiful, and you could tell that was him as an artist trying to grapple with what was happening. And then they just went after him harder. And his friend, by the way, committed suicide. And he tells that in the story. So it's this tragic story. And it's what good art should be. It's what good comedy should be. It's honest. It's edgy. It's dealing with the adversity that he's facing. And then again, they are acting like this dude wants trans people locked up. They are acting like he has political power and he isn't just an artist. So now he's just labeled as that. And it's driving all these comedy fans away from the left, because they go, oh, you just don't care about freedom of speech or comedy.
It's the recurring theme of the meme where the guy's standing in the middle and then someone on the left shoves him to the right. And then he gets picked up and they're like, are you all right? And the left goes, why are you siding with them?
Right.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Come hang out live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Super chat. We'll even answer some of your questions. If you want to check out the After Hours Censored Show, go to timcast.com and become a member. We put those up Monday through Thursday at 11 p.m. They're very funny, not very family friendly. We'll love to see you there. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.